A couple weeks ago now, I did a video on this place, my first base as a member on the Hermitcraft server. Now, it went down incredibly well. A lot of you really enjoyed it, and a lot of you suggested that I check out Hermitcraft Season 3. Now, I have to say, this is going to be a really interesting experience for me because I have very fond memories of Hermitcraft Season 3, but I haven't seen the world for about 3 years now, apart from when I literally just opened it to make sure that I was going to log in the right place. And by the look of things, I am. I'm logging in the central area. I can't actually remember what we call this place, but I've logged in the middle zone where everyone started out in the Hermitcraft world. Now, this is a massive world, so it is taking a little while to load, but here we are. And here we are, straight outside the balloon, Hermit Hills. That's what this place was called because this was an amplified world. And oh my word, I forgot about this guy. How did I forget about Mega Shrek? Honestly, I think this was probably one of my favourite pranks ever. It took me about, I think, 10 hours in total to create this thing, and a lot longer to gather all the resources. I remember we gathered all the resources in a live stream, which was actually quite a lot of fun. But this guy is epic. The moustache was added later on, I think by Tinfoil Chef, if I remember correctly. But wow, that looks absolutely fantastic. It's better than I remember. But anyway, aside from that thing, I've got a few builds in the Hermitcraft Hills area. Namely, number one, my starter base, which was this thing. Now, this is very unlike most of my builds ever. I don't normally build this sort of thing, but I decided I was just going to have a hot air balloon, and that's where my base was going to be, and you kind of launch yourself up, and then you had this tiny little storage system, a little enchanting area up at the top, and you know what? I absolutely love this little place. I mean, seriously, this place is really, really cool. I nailed it, especially with that bridge going across as well. That looks fantastic. Now, there were a few other bits and pieces that I did. Melon and Pumpkins farms. We've got the Redstone consultancy right there. I think I did that tiny little tree farm. I think that was done in a live stream once again. And that was like just meant to be a tree farm that nobody ever really used. I think I had a chicken farm down at the bottom here. I did the community mining area, which is sugarcane pillar, sugarcane brick wall. That's where that song actually comes from. It's from me placing in the sugarcane pillar, sugarcane brick wall. That's how that came about. Oh man, there's so many things I'd completely forgotten about. Oh, I wish Iskall was a member of the server for this season. I think he would have quit. I think he would have left the server. I don't think I did too much more in this area other than this little selection that you can see. I mean, as far as builds are concerned, I think that there was Tango Tex. You can tell by the nether brick. And I think he's got, yeah, big T's going around like that. They look really, really cool. And then there's Exuma Void's Witch Hut. I think that's Full Symmetry up there. Joe Hills had his place. I think that's Zombie Cleo, TFC, Monkey Farm. Slipgator did all of this stuff. Once again, Iskall would have loved it. And I think all of this is Slipgator as well. I mean, this is a pretty monstrous area. Really cool builds going on. I think this was also a prank that I did on Slipgator that just never got taken down. It's a nice font though. That's like a good typeface for Minecraft. Now, I've just peeked over the top of the hill here and I've spotted Hermit Thrills. I completely forgot. In fact, I personally thought that Hermit Thrills was in Hermitcraft Season 4. All of the seasons are kind of mixing together in my head. So I was quite surprised when I saw this thing. And, I mean, there should be a handful of little builds from me dotted around here. So I know that this... do you recognise him? I feel like it's quite obvious who built this one. Now, if I remember correctly, this is a redstone tip machine. Now, I can't remember, but I think Impulse and Tango actually sabotaged it in the end. But right now, he's talking, and he has given us advice and a piece of redstone that is consultant certified. And it says, watch more Seth Bling. Once you have watched all of his videos, move on to CMP, then Disco. Hopefully by this point, you will be fine. There we go. That was the sort of advice that I was giving in 2014. Yeah, it probably still applies. The only other builds that I've got in this area are the roller coaster. That kind of goes up and around like this. And I also have this guy right here, which is the Temple of Santa, where it was originally a Temple of Notch based on FV Disco's build, but then I made it into Santa during Christmas time. And in theory, it could still work. So he's opened his eyes. That's terrifying. Elves elves jump up. He gave us a wink, and he's given us presents. That's pretty good. Like, that's not too bad. I like it. I completely forgot. I also built a maze, I think. Hang on, let me set myself into game mode 3 so that we can kind of fly through walls without destroying anything. Did I just never finish this? I specifically remember building the entrance, but I never actually built the maze. That is so Mumbo Jumbo 2014. Oh yeah, the Ender games, they're a thing as well. You basically go up pillars and then ender pearl to the next pillar and you have to make your way around. That was actually a really fun game. I feel like maybe I should do like a massive one in Hermitcraft Season 5. Yeah, we're in Hermitcraft Season 5 now, aren't we? Oh, I just went through into Zombie Cleo's base accidentally and I discovered another prank that I did. This was like a make your own Christmas set. Where, you know, you used to get those toys where you used to have the plastic inside the plastic cages and you used to pop them out? I don't know, kids don't play with toys anymore, do they? They play with Xboxes, but this was a thing in my childhood. Anyway, I was trying to get through into my base, through the nether, and then I remembered that actually the original way that I used to get to my base in Hermitcraft Season 3 was through the Great Rail. So basically, I didn't want to go through the nether. I wanted to be accessible only through the overworld, which meant that I created this thing. The Great Rail Project. Now, I spent a very long time on this. Looking back, I think it was like 3 or 4 episodes, which is completely daft because all it really is a long minecart track. You guys must have got so bored of those episodes there, but I think it just travels along like this, and travels along like this, and continues traveling along like this, until you come out into an opening, in which you have this very... Well, that does not look structurally sound. In my head, it had, like, fences going up and across like that, but that is not the case. This looks like it would be very wobbly. But anyway, you come out into this opening surrounded by lots and lots of birch trees, and then you go back into here and continue traveling along like this. Until you arrive here. This was my Hermitcraft Season 3 base. And just like with Hermitcraft Season 2, I remember this thing being so much bigger than it is. I feel like Hermitcraft Season 5 has ruined me. I expect all of my bases to have been as big as that one. Whereas in reality... I mean, this is probably the size of one of the diamonds in Hermitcraft Season 5. Have you noticed how I keep almost getting the numbers wrong for the Hermitcraft seasons? I tell you, they keep merging together. I can't believe we're on Hermitcraft Season 5 already. But anyway, in terms of the colour scheme that we used for Hermitcraft Season 4, it was all very bright. Okay, that's the kind of style that I was going for, because in Hermitcraft Season 2 we used a lot of stone bricks and a lot of dark colours. In this one I wanted to do the complete polar opposite, and we used a lot of whites and a lot of kind of bright light blues and this kind of yellow sandstone-y colour. Well, it is yellow it's sandstone. So we used all of those sorts of colours, and it ended up looking pretty cool. It's kind of an odd colour combination. You wouldn't normally put snow and sandstone together, but it ends up looking pretty good. As far as the builds are concerned, this should look fairly familiar. It's the same mob spawner that we had in Hermitcraft Season 2, and those mobs fall onto those hoppers, and then their items end up in the droppers, which get dropped out into the water streams, which we should see happening around about now. So they fall through there, and then end up in these water streams, which takes them through into the sorting system. Now, I really like how symmetrical this place is. I put a lot of care and attention into that, and everything is perfectly symmetrical running up through the base. So if you take a look at it from back here, it does look pretty dramatic. I mean, that looks fairly fancy, doesn't it? Definitely, though, if I was going to build this again, storage system needs to be a lot bigger. I know, as I said earlier on in the episode, Hermitcraft Season 5 has ruined me when it comes to the scale of things. But, I mean, come on. Just this many chests for all of the mob drops? You gotta be joking. Anyway, I think we should pop down into this area here. So this went in a bunch of different directions. This is the train station that we had for the Great Rail. That's nothing too exciting. I remember being really proud of this room, and it is quite a nice looking room, but not so exciting. So we're gonna pop through into this area over here, which is actually quite a funny one. I completely forgot that I built this place. But around this corner here is, I think I called it the Garden of Mumbo. And it had the giant Mumbos, which I've just remembered. I think Tango and Impulse pranked to make me look old. Now, I cannot remember why they made me look old. No, nothing is coming back to me, but it looks absolutely hilarious with my little Zimmer frame. And oh dear, yeah, I remember that as well. They gave me a nappy, which apparently, well, the nappy's been very successful. I haven't been so successful at holding my urges, essentially. But this guy stood in the middle, and this was just one of those days. I thought, oh, I can't really think of what to do for a Hermitcraft episode, so I decided to blow up a massive area, and then we added in all of the lighting around the outside, we added in all of the greenery. It looks really, really cool, and this guy in the center is awesome. And underneath him, hang on, this is the Hermit Hurdles. I can't even remember what we called it. This was like a little map that the hermits could play if they wanted to, and we built obstacles for them. And they were all really annoying, like this one, which was totally random and could lead to you dying. That's so interesting. And then through here, I think we had a game that they have to play. Then the pick a door. Oh, it's all coming back to me. It's amazing how much I had forgotten from this Hermitcraft season. Now, on the other side of the railway, we have this little area up here, which I seem to remember was, yeah, it wasn't that amazing. It was the Observatory for the base, and it just had some ender stations and just some odd bits and pieces in there. Honestly, probably not one of my most thrilling projects I've ever done, and I must admit, doesn't actually look that cool in the hillside there. Moving swiftly on, we have got another zone of the base, which is this area. Yep, this is the tree farm, the little tree farm area, completely different style to the rest of it. We just completely changed everything up apparently and decided to have an entirely different zone for the base. So this is the tree farm. Then down here I think we had the enchanting room. That was the Hermitcraft ideas machine. I don't actually remember that one. This is the bedroom that I built that has all sorts of redstone contraptions that hopefully all still works. We've got armories, we've got redstone lamps that turn out, and all sorts of different things that go on. That's pretty fancy. And then through here we have got the armor. This is the armor equipping station, which I never filled in with items ever. Yep, not so good. And then over here we have got the water filling station, which is actually really, really cool. I love these machines. Just as a heads up, I did just try them and they're totally broken nowadays. So maybe that might be something to look into in the future because I do like those. Anyway, let's head down to the bottom. This is where like the most important stuff was. So first off, we have got all of the storage for the sugarcane farm and also the melon and the pumpkin farms. This was before we had any villagers, so these were just items that we wanted. we didn't have a use for them. I just wanted farms for them. And they are all achieved through this little system here. So we've got a small little sugarcane farm and a pretty small little melon and pumpkin farm as well. I mean, it's a nice looking area, don't get me wrong. But the farms are pretty tiny. I mean, look at that for a sugarcane farm. Once again, I think that might be Hermitcraft Season 5's influence affecting me again. But we're going to pop down from this area here and head down into the bottom zone. Now, I do apologise for the frame rates. My base is always famously laggy, especially in Hermitcraft Season 3. But this area here was my main storage system. And this was successful. I actually really like this place. This is a nice looking room. We've got the item elevator out the back. The items travel up. They go into all of the chests. And if we pop around the back here, we should see, yep, the storage system is looking good. And if you're wondering why everything is built out of iron blocks, it's because Tango Tech built the iron farm really early on Hermitcraft Season 3. And it worked wonders. Pretty much everything. This was like a throwaway block. You would have more iron blocks than dirt blocks. So that's why they're used pretty much everywhere. But this looks good. And then we had some extra bonus storage down at the bottom here. I think we had crafting tables that we could flip out. They all happened in this area. I like this room. In fact, this is probably my favourite area of all of my builds in Hermitcraft Season 3. We do have a few other bits happening. We've got a chicken farm. We also have the item transportation system, which hooks up the entirety of my base with items that I can send and receive, because obviously this was before the days of shulker boxes where you could carry around items. So you could put items inside the chest and they'd be sent off and travel off to different areas, which is actually pretty cool. and it involved a big network of water lines and dropper systems, and it took me quite a long time to work out logistically. But if we pop down through here, I think we have a nether wart farm, then some potion brewers, and then a pig farm, which never really got populated, and a cow farm, which once again never really got populated. Then we have a sheep farm, which didn't get populated either, and then finally a cocoa bean farm, which clearly didn't get populated either, apart from by a creeper. Oh, silly daft projects. And if you're wondering what is at the bottom of this minecart rail that runs through the center of the storage system room, it literally just takes us down into the little branch mine that I had down in the bottom here. Nothing too much going on, it just had a smart system of lighting up redstone lamps that you'd already been through. Cool! I can't actually remember if there's anything else. Just to make sure I'm not forgetting something glaringly obvious, I've popped through into game mode 3 just to kind of pop around the bottom of the base to see if there's anything missing. And this place does look very dramatic from down below. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff happening right there. Wow, it looks like an underground city, doesn't it? But as far as actual builds are concerned, I don't actually think we're missing anything. How on earth are you okay, that makes more sense. I got so confused then. So I guess this is it. This was all of the builds on the Hermitcraft Season 3 world. I mean, this is the little storage system that I created when I first came to the swamp, which I have no clue why I decided to live in a swamp, by the way. I mean, what an odd decision that is. It's not exactly the nicest looking biome in Minecraft, but I think that's pretty much all. I mean, we've got the industrial tree farm out the back here, which was a project that I kind of started right at the very end of the season that never really saw any use. But that rounds it up. It's been really interesting to go back to this world. I had forgotten so many details about this. I think Hermitcraft Season 2, I remembered quite a lot of because it was my first Hermitcraft season. This one, I kept being surprised by things that I'd worked on. So this is it. Hermitcraft Season 3, you guys requested it. There it is. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.